For well over 30 years, Super Saiyan has been the defining transformation in Dragon Ball. We've gotten multiple different versions of it, multiple different colors for it, and ever since it first popped up in Toriyama's original manga, its design and concept has become so iconic in pop culture that just about everybody knows what a Super Saiyan is, even if they don't like anime. But nowadays, it feels like Dragon Ball is trying to move away from the Super Saiyan form and is even abandoning God forms by having our main characters achieve new quote-unquote Ultra forms like Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. Not to mention, we have Gohan Beast, which likely doesn't even have anything to do with the traditional Super Saiyan lineage. Instead, it's portrayed as an ascended version of Gohan's ultimate state. So now with all these different powers coming into the story, Goku and his friends are going down separate paths, unlocking new Ultra forms that are without a doubt becoming new benchmarks for the series, and just like what Super Saiyan was back in the day, they're becoming their go-to transformations. Because of this, it makes me wonder if the era of Super Saiyan is truly over. Is Super Saiyan a dying transformation, or is it still relevant even today? I'm InnovativeJdawg, and I wanted to discuss that idea in today's video, but first, if you aren't already subscribed, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel because I make a lot more discussion videos like this. I think it's great that Goku and the others are going down these separate paths by unlocking these exclusive forms and techniques because it creates more diversity in the series, which in turn keeps the story fresh and entertaining. But it really makes me miss those glory days of Dragon Ball where characters were actually racing against each other to be the first to achieve a new level of Super Saiyan. There's just something about those moments like what we saw in the Cell Saga, where all of the Saiyans entered the hyperbolic time chamber and came out with different Super Saiyan forms, having discovered ways to go past the original Super Saiyan, and they basically showed each other up as the arc progressed. It was great. But of course, just because Goku and the others have access to these stronger Ultra forms, that doesn't mean that they can't turn into a Super Saiyan 2, or even a Super Saiyan God from time to time. In the past, we've seen them go into fights in their base form, and as the fight progresses, they tap into higher and higher transformations just to keep the fight entertaining, and in my eyes, no matter how strong they get, or however many new forms they unlock, we're still going to see Goku and Vegeta do that because that's just who they are. They're always going to have access to those older, golden-haired forms, and those God forms even have some pros and cons of their own, making them useful in certain situations, so we're always going to see Goku and Vegeta show off those old forms just because they can. I don't think they'll ever get retired as long as the series keeps going. But even if we are always going to see those older forms like Super Saiyan God, and even Super Saiyan Blue, that doesn't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things as long as they're used for the bare minimum kind of fighting. Whenever Goku and Vegeta show off these forms against characters like Jiren or Broly, they don't really do a lot of damage, if at all, and are mostly just used for show for the audience, so in that sense, yeah, Super Saiyan can be pretty irrelevant when used against God-tier characters. However, Goku opened up a doorway for Super Saiyan forms to be relevant again during his fight against Granola in DBS Chapter 72. By using the Ultra Instinct technique in conjunction with Super Saiyan God, Goku was able to more accurately use the technique than when he was in his base form. Essentially, it worked very similarly to Goku's silver-haired form of Ultra Instinct, where when he was in that transformation, he had perfect control over the Ultra Instinct technique, except this time around, he was using the Super Saiyan form to use the technique more accurately without having to use UI Sign or the silver-haired version of UI. This concept, while it's only seen very briefly, opens up a new doorway for Goku moving forward, especially since he taps into an enhanced version of Ultra Instinct Sign and discovers his own unique version of it in the form of True Ultra Instinct. Now, whether you want to call it True Ultra Instinct or just Ultra Instinct, it doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, it's Goku's own version of Ultra Instinct, and it's an emotionally driven form that proves to be more versatile than even his perfected Ultra Instinct form, since it's more of a natural state for him. So it makes me wonder if in a future arc, we could see Goku bring that concept back by combining the Ultra Instinct technique with Super Saiyan forms to make True Ultra Instinct even stronger, because at the end of the day, Ultra Instinct is a technique, not a form. Goku only makes it more accurate by utilizing the technique in transformations, so I see this as a pretty logical step forward for his character until one day he doesn't even need to transform and can just use UI in his base form at all times. All of that is just one very major way for Super Saiyan to still be relevant to Goku's own character. They could serve as outlets for him to increase the accuracy of Ultra Instinct, just like what we saw in the Granola arc. It's a really cool concept, and maybe one day Vegeta could even pull off something similar with his Ultra Ego forms, using them in conjunction to make his destruction energy even stronger, and then maybe one day they can help him master the form. We'll just have to wait and see. But at the end of the day, Goku and Vegeta are aiming to go past Super Saiyan by learning these Ultra forms. So what about other characters that don't have Ultra forms? Not everything in the world of Dragon Ball has to be at God tier level, so is Super Saiyan still relevant with weaker characters? Well yeah, there's characters like Goten and Trunks who use the basic Super Saiyan form to take out weaker bad guys, so from time to time we still get to see some of that golden-haired glory that we all know and love. Plus, all of those Saiyans from Universe 6 have access to forms like Super Saiyan 2, and last time we saw them, they were wanting to achieve Super Saiyan 3 just like Goku, so there's always potential for them to come back with those forms, and maybe they even manage to master them at some point or another. It would actually be really cool if we saw Caulifla or Kaba master Super Saiyan 3, because that's something that Goku didn't even bother doing. In my eyes, it would give the Universe 6 Saiyans something more unique. But not only that, there's next generation fighters like Pan and Bulla who haven't even transformed yet, but they have potential. Pan and Bulla, if Bulla ends up becoming a fighter, both of them have potential to turn into Super Saiyans for the very first time, and based on how it happens, Super Saiyan still has that potential to be relevant from a storytelling perspective. Even if they can't go up against people like Beerus or Frieza or anybody else, it's still possible for Super Saiyan to get the proper storytelling treatment that it deserves. Even though it's been a joke in the past, every time a character transforms, it's supposed to represent a huge milestone for them and serves as a stepping stone into a brighter future, so it would be really cool for us to see Pan train with Piccolo and eventually get that opportunity of going Super Saiyan just like the rest of her family. But now, let's talk about the pretty big elephant in the room, and you probably guessed who it is since I wanted to save them for last. Broly is perhaps the biggest advocate for Super Saiyan right now because currently, he's one of the few characters that still relies on Super Saiyan forms to make him one of the strongest in the entire franchise. Last time we saw Broly, he achieved several Saiyan forms ranging from his Ikari state to the regular Super Saiyan all the way up to his green-haired version of full power Super Saiyan, but that's as far as he went. Currently, he doesn't have any access to Ultra forms like Goku or Vegeta, and he doesn't have access to God Ki, at least not yet. So right now, Broly is operating off of his own natural rage and potential, and even without access to a proper Super Saiyan 2 or anything of the sort, he's still one of the strongest characters in the entire universe. Could you imagine if Broly got stronger and obtained different Super Saiyan forms, or even trained to the point where he could control his own rage? It's insane to think about just how far Broly can go, but no matter what happens to his character, I see him being the main person responsible for keeping Super Saiyan alive and relevant in its most traditional sense. Throughout the video, I've talked about Super Saiyan being combined with Goku's Ultra Instinct or Vegeta's Ultra Ego, and while that's certainly possible, it's not really a natural progression for Super Saiyan. It's more of a way of preserving the older forms and keeping them relevant with each new arc, with no changes. With Goten and Trunks, the Universe 6 Saiyans, and younger Saiyans like Pan and Bulla, they're at a way lower level where they can only use and master the basic Super Saiyan forms, so they're going to help preserve the original Super Saiyan and its role in the story for a while, but they won't make it relevant combat-wise like Goku and Vegeta. Broly though, I feel like he can do both. He can keep Super Saiyan relevant from a storytelling perspective by unlocking new forms or mastering old ones, and since he has such insane potential, he'd be able to stay relevant in terms of combat because there's really not a limit as to how powerful he can get. No matter what direction the story of Dragon Ball takes, I feel like Super Saiyan will always be relevant in one way or another. Even if the story tries to give us new techniques or forms like Ultra Instinct, Ultra Ego, or even Gohan Beast, Super Saiyan is still going to be relevant through characters like Broly, through different forms of combat through Goku and Vegeta, and through more down-to-earth storytelling through Goten, Trunks, Pan, Bulla, and the Universe 6 Saiyans. No matter what happens or where Dragon Ball goes, there's always going to be a character who goes Super Saiyan, even if it's not the original golden-haired version that we all know and love. Super Saiyan isn't just restricted to that original version that we saw over 30 years ago, and it's evolved through different variations and versions throughout the years that no matter where Dragon Ball ends up, Super Saiyan will always be alive until the end of the line. So with that, I hope you all enjoyed today's video. It was just a quick and fun discussion that I had planned, so I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and if you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content. I have plenty more discussions, what-if scenarios, and shorts for you guys to enjoy, so be sure to stick around, turn on notifications, and you won't miss a single video. While you're at it, share this video with your friends because I would love to hear everybody's thoughts on whether Super Saiyan is still relevant down in the comments, so let's have a discussion. As always, I had a blast making this video, so thank you all so much for showing it some love. My next video I have planned is a very special one that I'm sure a lot of you will enjoy, but until it drops, I'll be seeing all of you Dragon Ball fans later. See ya!